Dynamic businesses and talented individuals can choose where to be, and thus our fourth priority is to ensure we have an appealing community for those businesses and individuals. This includes downtown and waterfronts development, recreational amenities, and expanded air service. It also includes our next example, which is thriving and vibrant neighborhoods. Here to share more are Ricardo Leone of Metro West, a Civic partner, and Ryan Ullman from KeyBank, a GCP member company.
Well, investment in our neighborhoods is incredibly important, right? And I think we all know that. And the reason why it's important is because intentional investment in our communities creates more equitable outcomes. You know, when we think about our neighborhoods, particularly our underserved and under-resourced neighborhoods that have not had that investment, the folks in those communities need to be at the table in the decision-making process and how development and resources come to the table. And so through collaboration and partnership with Greater Cleveland Partnership, CDA, other folks like KeyBank, we've been able to bring resources to the table, have centered our residents, and allowed for this true collaboration to create more collective impact.
I think that's great, Ricardo, and I think you're right on with the intentional impact, intentional investment, and I think we have to look at this as not just at the CDC level or at the government level or at the civic level providing resources, but also bringing in the corporate community as well and bringing them all together in order to have this collaborative effort to provide those tools to make lasting impacts and intentional impacts in neighborhoods and individuals across Cleveland that you have been able to do in the Clark Fulton neighborhood. I think about some of the tools that we have worked with and have seen be impactful in the past, such as the lead-based paint initiative, and also the Cleveland Opportunity Cleveland Loan Fund. All of those things have helped to bring together corporate community, civic, and government assets and resources in order to make lasting impacts in neighborhoods. And you really, hit the nail on the head there.
Absolutely. I think you're right. You're 100% spot on in that merging of the philanthropic, corporate, and banking community with our neighborhood institutions and residents is what's allowing these really impactful tools to come into existence.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about a neighborhood like Clark Fulton, where we're investing heavily in affordable housing, right? Our anchor institution, Metro Health, is investing $1 billion onto their campus and reshaping the face of our neighborhood, but doing it in that intentional way that gets resources out into the hands of folks in the community. I think that has been probably one of the most exciting things to see is how we've been able to build these partnerships together, these innovative collaborations, and those collaborations are what are now bringing those tools to the table. And we don't need to recreate the wheel. We know what works. We know the tools that works.
Right.
And so how can we just use those tools in a meaningful way with residents and create more equitable outcomes for them?
No, that's great, Ricardo. And I think some of those impacts and investments that you talked about in affordable housing in the Clark Metro neighborhood, as far as Metro West, also with the Opportunity Cleveland Loan Fund. Key has been able to put its corporate mission of trying to make sure that we provide lasting impacts of helping communities and individuals grow and live and thrive in their communities. And so I think that GCP and CDA are helping to be partners to bring together all those civic stakeholders, government stakeholders, and corporate stakeholders in order to provide those kind of tools and vehicles for making those lasting impacts in your neighborhoods.
And then I think when we think about catalytic projects, right, you can't get a catalytic project without partnership, right? And partnerships move at the speed of trust. And so building trust with our neighbors, with our philanthropic community, our banking community, our corporate community is at the center of the work that we need to do. And so I can say, at least on our end at Metro West, but also across the CDC industry, we are doing our fair share and kind of bringing folks to the table and helping to generate that trust so that folks know that when investments are happening in their neighborhood, they're happening for them and with them.
Right. And trust is important. I'm glad you said that, because it's not only just the trust within the individuals or the communities that you're serving, but it's the trust with the stakeholders and the partners involved as well. So you want to be able to have trust in those capital partners, those community stakeholders that are helping to provide investment and lasting impact. So that it makes that difference and lasting community impact for who you're trying to serve. It's very important.
Absolutely. And then the idea is then how can we, if we can prove it in one neighborhood, how do we spread it across community, across the city to create a better Cleveland together?
Right.